Up first, we have Charise Flynn, the COO and co-founder of Hummingbirds, a venture-backed platform that helps brands grow through the power of hyperlocal creators and authentic connections. A builder and strategist, Charise has experience in scaling businesses and leading high-growth teams. She's passionate about creating community, helping unique brands tell their stories, and building a platform where local creators can share, inspire, and discover amazing products and businesses. For your incentive, we know that you're well-versed in scaling businesses, but we have a different kind of scaling in mind. If you go over your time, we're expecting you to scale 801 grand.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. If I gave you 5 words, just 5, that could completely change the way you see challenge and possibility, would you want to know them? They're not new. They've been around for thousands of years, whispered in scripture, woven into Eastern traditions, and tucked into Stoic philosophy. But here's the catch. Most of us don't live by them. We're conditioned out of them. Those 5 words. Ask, and it is given. 5 words with the power to change everything. But here's the thing. They don't match the story many of us are told. Rugged individualism tells us to push harder, do it alone, prove ourselves through suffering. And for much of my life, I actually believe that story. When I was living in San Francisco, I read a book by a powerful venture capitalist. His message was super clear. Success is all about doing hard things. Push through the pain. Grind, suffer, reward will come later. But then I looked around, and what I saw were people with impressive resumes who looked absolutely exhausted, burned out, and completely lonely. They were beating the drum of, this is hard, and in return, they were getting hard things. Ask, and it is given. I grew up on a farm in Northwest Iowa, and people often assume I learned how to work hard. Yes, I woke up before sunrise and I fed cattle at the age of 12. From the outside, that probably looked like hard work. But to me, it was actually a ton of fun. I loved it. That was my first lesson. When you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like grind. It actually feels and helps you make you feel alive. Years later, I saw this lesson again while studying abroad in Honduras. From the outside, you might look at life there and say, wow, that must be hard. But what I saw was joy and the happiest people I've ever met. Families laughing together, friends gathering at night, neighbors caring for each other without scorekeeping. They weren't asking for possessions. They were asking for love, belonging, and connection. And they had it, a very different kind of abundance. Now let me be clear. Life does bring illness, loss, injustice, financial strain, and not just personal. We live in a country that feels more divided than ever. We live in a state with the highest cancer rates and a nation and community where clean water isn't guaranteed. If you step back, you might think, oh shit, that's pretty messed up. Some days it feels overwhelming, and our natural reaction, fight, flight, or freeze. I'll admit, I've spent late nights Googling, where's the utopian island I can go live on? But here's the shift. Do we stay in hopelessness, or do we step into creation? Do we let ourselves feel victimized by the brokenness we might see around us, or do we choose to create something different? That's the choice every one of us faces, not just in our personal lives, but in our communities, the companies we're in and get to build, and our country. We can't always control the circumstances, but we can ask, what do we want to create here? There's a parable about a farmer whose son falls off a horse and breaks his arm. The neighbors say, what a tragedy. The farmer replies, maybe. A week later, the army comes to take all the young men to war, but his son is spared because of his broken arm. The story has always stayed with me, because the truth is we can't always know what's good or bad in the moment, but we can choose how we meet it, with blame, judgment, or fear, or with openness, curiosity, and creation. And I've noticed this within myself. When I'm reacting, blaming, rescuing, judging, I can start to feel powerless. But I'm not a victim. You're not a victim. We're all creators. One of the clearest examples in my own life was on my fundraising path. Only 2% of women successfully have raised venture capital. I could have looked at that and said, well, the odds are against me. Instead, I asked, what do I want to create? I wanted to create a company that feels alive. I wanted to build something big. I pitched, I heard no, and I asked again. And we've now successfully raised 3 rounds of venture capital, totaling $13 million. So this is what I've come to believe. When we're brave enough to ask, the universe responds. Sometimes it's a door that opens. Sometimes it's clarity inside of ourselves. So maybe the truth is, life rises to meet the size of our ask. And I'll leave you with the same question I ask my kids every day. How can we spread more peace, love, and joy today? Because when we ask for it and when we give it, it multiplies. Thank you.